Hello, everyone. This is Kendra with another edition of the ASUN Lunchbox, and it's lunchtime. So join with me. I have from Kennesaw State, Tariq Bradford and Jessica Watkins from the Kennesaw State Track and Field squad. So first and foremost, how are you guys doing?
Doing pretty well. How about yourself?
Doing fine. What about you, Jessica?
I'm doing great as well. Glad to hear you're doing well.
It's the only thing I can do. But anyway, I wanted to get into it first and foremost because I know the reason why we're here is just because you guys were part of a protest that took place on May the 31st. It was a protest for the Black Lives Matter movement. So I wanted to hear your thoughts on it. What made you want to be a part of it?
Well, I can start off if Jessica doesn't mind.
Of course.
All right. So, a good friend of mine, his name is Devin Mann. He's an alumni of KSU right now. He reached out and he was just saying that awareness, people need to be aware of the things that are going on in society, things that are going on in your community. It just needs to come together. So he asked myself, he asked Jessica, to help use our platforms to help gather people together. And he did a lot of the work. Like he organized the walk, he helped get donations, but we were just here to bring people together for awareness so we are aware of things going on.
Yeah, in addition to that, that's kind of why I was inspired to go. It just felt important, right? This is we the night before in Atlanta, there were kind of the more antagonistic or the more violent demonstrations, and this just felt like an amazing opportunity to get so many students that look a variety of ways to get together and make everyone know how they feel.
But that's just the first step, you know. Awareness is nothing without action. So the next step is action. We were trying to get everybody to go out and vote. June 9th was a very important day. Everybody went out and voted. And we really just wanted to get people together to be aware and to show that you have a voice that you can use. And voting is the way to use it.
Got you. Actually, in Atlanta, I actually took part in the protest that happened that Friday. I was there a little bit earlier, so before everything popped off, I was well and gone. But there's been a lot of unrest that has been going down. Things have started to die down just a little bit as far in terms of just violence and everything. But I wanted to hear what was your take on it, like since you put everything together just to get people's voice. What was the message that you wanted to convey being a part of your protest in Kennesaw?
I think for the majority of the people out there, the largest message was that this is a problem and it's been a problem. It's just now getting kind of the attention that it deserves. For me personally, I felt this was the first time I've ever done anything that was around the lens of activism and making my own personal political views known using the platform that I had. So I was heartbroken by the violence, but I understood the frustration.
Right. So, really retweeting everything Jessica said. As a Black man, it's great. It's great that people are becoming more aware. It's becoming a more common conversation, but this is nothing new. It's nothing new. Like the way people are responding is great, and how everybody wants to hop on and help and learn more now. Awesome, but we need to understand that this is not new, and that's why the frustration is there. That's why people are reacting the way that they are, because this is not a new problem at all. It's as American as it gets. So we're trying to change that.
Definitely. I wanted to ask you because just part of the Black Lives Movement, like I could say myself, I went dark on social media probably about 4 or 5 years ago. And it's interesting because I'm the social media director, but on my personal social medias, like I went dark a long time ago, just due to some of the issues that were happening with police brutality and everything. Because I know back about that time, they were doing the Black and Blue Lives Matter movement, just saying that Blue Lives Matter too. But things, nothing's really changed because it's Tariq, as you said, it's been pretty much nothing's changed. So I feel like we've reached a point where we are fed up just from lack of, I can't put it any other way. So people have been fed up. People are out in the streets more. I wanted to hear what was your take on just your protest and just the amount of people that were involved. And I know just being at Kennesaw State, like you guys have a take on it just with the kneeling situation and the Kennesaw cheerleaders that took place a couple of years ago. Like, what is the feelings on your campus and what has been the feeling with you guys just wanting to be a part?
Personally, I love KSU. Just the protest was beautiful. It was people of all shades, sizes, color, religions. It was amazing. All different races. And the thing is, when we say Black Lives Matter, we are not invalidating anybody else's lives. And that protest to me showed that. When I say Black Lives Matter, I'm not saying your life doesn't matter. I'm saying Black Lives Matter too. Like, we understand, but for all lives to matter, Black lives have to matter first. Like, our life needs to matter. And that's how I felt about it. And I think the people at KSU really understand that. And that's why I really love my university.
Yeah, just what Tariq just said reminded me of a statement that my stepmom told me last night, that this kind of current climate of society is similar to the analogy of, I have a house, you have a house, we all have our homes, and we all like to take care of it. And me having my home does not negate or take away from your home, but I have to take care of home first, right? And that's kind of what we're seeing, where our community has not been taken care of and has now decided that they're going to prioritize us, right? So that's really cool. Kind of in regard to how Kennesaw is reacting, I think the protest was beautiful. I wasn't able to see it because of where I was standing, but Tariq and kind of what he was doing with leadership and helping the flow of traffic was able to see how long the line was and how many students came out to support. And I really appreciate that. I've had numerous coaches reach out to me. I know our administration is doing a really important job, and they're doing a really they're trying very hard to make sure that they know, so to make sure that students know that they're here for us.
Absolutely. Yeah, and also just a part of the protest that I was a part of, because as Tariq said, there was just a multitude of different races and ethnicities that took part. I even seen like this Caucasian couple like in their like 60s or 70s just walking in front of me, and I was just very like, whoa, that's crazy, because it was a walk. It was pretty much a commute. Like after we got done with it, I was like, yo, I'm exhausted. I have to go home, and like I don't see how people stayed out there any longer because I was tired. But you guys are student athletes, so you know I'm not built from that cloth. So yo, I'm tired. But yeah, it just really spoke on everything. And I feel like right now we're in a pivotal moment in society where I feel like we have more voices joining with ours, just stating that this is incorrect. And, you know, change must happen. Where do you guys stand on that? Like, what do you guys want to see just from this time period and going forward?
So not to sound cliche, right, but I actually want to see systemic change. I want to see corporations and institutions provide documentation about how their companies are run. A lot of times people pour into businesses that because they like their products, but might not necessarily know about the inner workings of it. So I want to see what people's board of directors look like, what the retention rates are for minorities, different initiatives that they're focusing on. That's kind of what I would like to see.
To tag on to that, some systematic change I want, what really just overall change. A lot of places, organizations, they have the stance of, well, we are not a racist organization. I'm not racist, but they're not anti-racist. They don't work against people who are racist. There's no repercussions for being racist more times than not. So I want, instead of people just being like, well, I'm not racist and passing it down, check the people that are, educate the people that are, have some perspective, see the other side. Like, I want people to understand each other and stop drawing lines in the sand and, yeah, having vendettas.
Okay. And just coming out of that, because I know just speaking off camera, this is your third year being involved in student government. I wanted to ask, just being student athletes, what made you want to be involved in student government?
Well, Tariq got me involved in student government, so that was fun. He was elected, going into our sophomore year, he was elected for the senator for student athletes. And I was appointed for the senator for the honors college, and I fell in love with the organization. It's fun. It's so much fun. It's so much fun. I love Kennesaw. It's so much fun, but it was hard balancing the two. My coach and I have a really amazing working relationship because I had to be flexible with my practice times in order to attend meetings or events and stuff like that. So.
Right. I remember I did reach out to you for SGA. That greatest decision ever. Clearly, you're my vice president now, match made in heaven. But the way I got into SGA was actually a senior on my track and field team, the KSU track and field team, my freshman year. His name was Tariq Singleton. Heard of him multiple time ASUN champion. So he was the current SGA Senator of Athletics, and also he was a member of SAC at KSU. They got me under their wing. I was in SAC, and they saw that he thought I had great leadership qualifications. So he was like, you should run for election. You should try to be Senator of Student Athletics. And I won, and then the rest is history. Here we are now. And I fell in love with it as well. Don't get me wrong.
How do you balance that? Just being a student athlete, being a part of student government, because I just know, just along some of my former stops, just depending on where you may attend, some coaches may shun being involved in extracurricular activities. And I know you guys are involved in several. So how did your coaches in that?
Well, I have Jessica. Jessica keeps my life all in order. I would have crashed and burned a while ago. But just organizing my time, making sure that I'm punctual. Like I'm early to everything. I like to be 5 minutes early. So I'm moving in the flow of my schedule. It doesn't seem like a lot, but then I look back at everything. I'm like, oh wow, how did all that happen? And so it's really just teamwork. We have a symbiotic relationship. We keep each other going.
Yeah, and we have a really supportive coaching staff.
Exactly.
Our people coming out of our athletic department, our coaches, whether or not they were our event-specific coaches, especially our head coach, they supported us. And I think that's what made all of this easy.
Shout out to Kel McDaniel.
Shout out to Kel McDaniel and Rachel Coelho.
And James Talkinson. We shout out everyone. That's my coach.
Yeah, shout them all out. Shout them all out. Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, just since for the spring semester, we didn't have any sports. How are you guys dealing with that? Because I just know that's just starting to get into the track and field season and everything. Like I know, Jessica, I interviewed you just coming off of your performance at the indoor track and field championship. So how does it feel just not having an outdoor season?
It hurt. I'm a planner, so there were certain plans I had. There was a certain way that I expected my senior year to go. But I'm trying to be adaptable. So like it was hurt and it was awkward, and because not only was our season taken from us, but all of society was changing. There was a lot going on around us. But I kind of remedied that situation by sticking around, and so I'll be back next year. So.
Gotcha.
Yeah, Jessica will be back next year. Me, on the other hand, I will retire with my silver. They call me Mr. Silver. I got a whole bunch of second place finishes, but it's okay. I love my team. I love everybody I'm around. My career didn't end how I would have liked it to. I wanted to end it with an outdoor season, just surrounded by my teammates. Because after outdoor conference, it's the same feeling every year. We're finally all together. We have a big team dinner. I was really looking forward to that, having senior speech. But things don't go how you plan it all the times. And I feel like this is a great situation for me to learn to be more adaptable, be able to pivot, be able to just be okay with how certain things go. It's okay. And that's how I feel about it. I'm proud of my friends that are sticking around. I'm proud of Jessica for sticking around. She's a conference champ. She's going to get that gold medal again next year. Because, that's just how it is. Had to get over it, but it's good.
All right, well, hard-hitting question. Take it how you want it. But just being you're killing me with your facial expressions right now. You're killing me. Every time you make a face, I think I said something wrong. I just look at it.
Man.
But no, I just wanted to ask you, just being an African American in today's society, I wanted to ask, how do you feel just with everything going on, just looking at everything that's been happening on the news, just most recently with Ahmaud Arbery just jogging in his own neighborhood, with Breonna Taylor being shot in her bed, with George Floyd, like pretty much the catalyst for everything that's been happening just recently. And just, I forget about the lady who called the police on the bird watcher in the park, which to me was it was pretty bad because it just let me know, just not let me know, but it kind of reinforced some things that almost going back to the Netflix movie When They See Us, just how she could just say something just off the cuff and just know people will believe her. Just how do you feel just in today's climate, just being an African American male and female? So, Tariq, I'm gonna start with you and take your time with it.
Really, how I looked at it is just it could be any of us at any time. You can be doing anything at any moment, regardless of how much you're investing in yourself, what organizations you're in, how intelligent you are, who you are. At the end of the day, I'm branded by my skin. You know what I mean? And I love my skin. But unfortunately, some other people, they may see my skin as antagonizing or as a weapon. And unfortunately, that's the reality of it. I was from a predominantly black neighborhood my whole life. When I when I went to college, I was around other cultures for the first time. And that was the first time I really saw like people who would rather cross the street than walk by me at night. You know what I mean? Like that one hit different. So it it just kind of it reinforces like it can be any of us and something has to change because it's been too long.
I had kind of a different experience, or I have kind of a different feeling about it. I grew up in I was raised and put in spaces where I was around a lot of different types of people early on. I started in private school, and then the school I went to in high school was pretty diverse. Um, so for the longest time, I kind of was a part of the problem. Like I was a part of the group of people who weren't paying attention, who weren't speaking out about it. Like I knew, of course, about systemic injustice. I knew, of course, about discrimination and Black lives being taken. But it's very hard to constantly hear about and constantly have in your face. So it's not something that I followed, and it's so easy to follow with social media. So when the murder of George Floyd happened, that's what got me. So it was kind of a double catalyst for me because I saw it kind of change things in society, and then it changed things for me. And that's why I have been so much more intentional about using my voice and letting people know that things need to change.
Gotcha. And again, I thank you for your input just on that because I know it could be a touchy subject matter. I know me with myself, it made me ask some questions that I kind of went away from because I wanted to focus on just myself professionally. And it can be really hard just taking back to a couple of weeks ago when everything was fresh and, people were out protesting. I went out and protested, I'm in grad school now. Like, I was telling some of my friends that, I didn't want to work. I just didn't. Like it was hard picking up or getting on my laptop and writing a paper or anything like that because, mentally I was tired just with everything going on and just knowing how, Tariq, piggybacking off of you, your skin color can be seen threatening. And I know we see it we see it every few months in the news or every couple of years in the month. But, just with the recent things that have happened in the news, just like 3 or 4 things over the last month or so, it's just draining. And I seen a post on Instagram where it's just like, check on your Black friends or just know that your Black friends are not okay. It's just one of those things where you put it on your back, but deep down inside, you're not. Because at a certain point, just going back to the young singer that sung so eloquently on social media, I just want to live, just straight up. Like there's a lot of things that are going on in today's society, but at the end of the day, I just want to do what everybody else does. So
I'm not sure if either of y'all saw the Oprah Winfrey kind of group discussion she had with some influential people last night, but one of the statements was that people of color and especially African American individuals, there's an assumption that we can handle more, that we can accept more pain, and we are more resilient. And then there's also other cultures are desensitized to our pain, so that just kind of perpetuates the issues and some of the things that are going on with people of color trying to exist in this society.
Got you. And I didn't hear about that. I have to go back and check about it, but I did hear about, African Americans being able to tolerate more pain, and it just being a slave mentality, something that slave owners told other slave owners or other people just to validate what they were doing and how we were treated and how we were beaten and everything. So it made them feel more okay with treating us like that back in the past. And, it's not true. So
have less accountability.
Yeah, less accountability, exactly. And at the end of the day, it's not true. We feel pain just like everybody else. It's just, your pain threshold goes up when you have to endure more pain. So, closing words, because I don't want to keep you guys forever, but is there anything that you wanted to say just on everything that's been going on, or just future? Sorry, broad question, but I had to come out of it, and I was like, yeah, I really don't have a question right now, but I need to wrap it up. Future for yourself, because I know just as African Americans, there's there can be a lot placed upon us, because not only are we doing it for us, but a lot of times I feel like we put the entire culture on our back. Like, everything that we do, we're accountable to the culture. So, as far as me going to school or anything like that, I'm doing it for my family. I'm doing it for the neighborhoods that I've come out of, just showing people that it is possible.
That's a big one right there for me. Just showing that it is possible, showing that you can make it out. I know it's a lot stacked against us right now, and we may not start on an even playing field. And it's not fair that we have to work twice as hard to get to the same place, but it's possible. And then when you do, your family, they don't have to do that. They don't have to go through those same trials and tribulations you did. Some will, because skin color. Hopefully that's not a problem later down the line. But like financially, socioeconomically, like I don't want my family to go through those similar trials and tribulations. And I just want to shout out to the ASUN. Y'all care. Like y'all reached out, y'all had a phone call with us.
We're trying.
Wow.
Yeah, I really appreciate it.
All right, well, go ahead, Jessica.
And the only closing statement I have is kind of to any person who watches this to remember that change takes time, and change is uncomfortable, right? So society needs a complete makeover, and it's going to take a minute, and it's going to be frustrating, and it's going to look different. A lot of people keep comparing now to the civil rights movement. It's going to look different because this is not the 1960s. So take a deep breath and do whatever self-care you need. Stay vigilant in our fight for change.
Very well said. Reminds me of like a J. Cole verse on one of his songs. Change is slow, always has been, always will be.
Yeah. Shout out J. Cole, shout out Jay-Z. Difficult takes a day, impossible takes a week. Like that's just how it is.
Tariq, you too young for that. You're not supposed to know that lyric. You're not supposed to know that. See, I kept J. Cole because I was like, yeah, I want to identify with this young generation, but nah, you're going back to my era. So I see you over here. We're gonna have to have some music talk later.
Most definitely.
All right, but again, I wanted to thank you guys for your time. I know that you guys are busy. Student athletes keep a very full plate, so I appreciate you taking time out of your day to speak with me, speak with the ASUN conference. We'll definitely keep in touch because there's ongoing conversations. I know we've been talking amongst ourselves within the conference and within, just the organization. We want to be an advocate of change. So we want to reach out to our student athletes. Like we want to do more than just put up a Black page on Blackout Tuesday. Like we want to be a part of that change. So I appreciate you guys for being a part of that change with us.
Of course. Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
Anytime. You guys have a good day, okay?
You as well.
All right.